Michaeline, some people think that if this is still impacting you emotionally many years later, you didn't get over it, or in psychological parlance, unresolved grief. Is that the case?
Yeah, not necessarily. And in fact, that get over it, how can we get over the loss of somebody that we loved, even if we didn't get to meet them?
So you adjust.
Yes.
Necessarily, but there isn't something psychologically wrong with you.
No.
My little brother died when I was 15, and my mom and dad grieved terribly. I didn't. I felt bad, but I was a 15-year-old boy and I was into adolescence. You know when I grieved? You know, when I had my son. Then it hit me. It wasn't unresolved grief. It was a reaction to something later in life. We have a woman coming up, 15 years after her oldest child was lost through a miscarriage. And you will see the raw emotion that this young mother of 5 still has. Tiffany, I just had a friend and his wife tell me they had a miscarriage. I can't believe how rocked they were by the whole thing.
I can relate. I have 5 children now, but our first and our third, we had miscarriages as well. And our first was by far most traumatic.
You did?
Yes, yeah.
I've known you for 20 years. I've never heard this.
It's not something women generally talk about, although it is necessary for us to talk about it so that we know that we aren't alone.
What happened?
There's very little support there. So I had felt just fine. I had just had an OB appointment. They saw that the heartbeat was normal. Everything looked great. Blood work was excellent. And then one day I didn't feel very well. So I called off of work and I stayed home. Mid-morning, I started to bleed and I called my doctor, where I was told that I was likely miscarrying. And that was about the extent of it. Now, granted, my doctor was seeing patients in the middle of a busy day, but I had no guidance. I had no support.
You're a first-time mom.
Yes, yeah, first time. And so luckily, the Holy Spirit brought my mother over. So I did have some support present, but it was shocking when I delivered at home. And I had this beautiful baby at home that was stillborn. So it's a very difficult situation. And it's something that stays with a mother throughout our life, even after you have more children.
Did you tell other people this?
Yes. When I notice or I hear of other moms experiencing these situations, I like to tell them so that they're aware and they're not alone.
What happens?
Because it's very taboo.
What? I'm confused. I'm a guy here. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. What happens when you reveal this to these moms?
A lot of them cry because it is a form of decompression and reassurance that they aren't alone, that this is actually something normal. They didn't necessarily do anything wrong. They didn't take the wrong vitamins or eat the wrong food or not exercise enough.
They blame themselves.
Sometimes, yes, they do. And there's a sense of guilt. There's definitely a sense of loss. Not for everyone. Everyone's different. But there is always grieving. There's always grieving.
How many years ago was this for you?
14 and a half.
I see you're tearing up as you talk about it.
That's my child.
I got to admit, I'm ignorant about this. I don't understand this. And what can I know? What can I understand? What can I do? So
the best thing is there are resources, ministries, things available to help women. Encourage them to talk about it and seek help. For example, my sister unfortunately also miscarried later, but she had the avenues to receive help. There was a local funeral home that was very supportive, provided a casket. There was a priest who came and did a burial for her. They had closure, something that I and my husband never fully received. And so there are support systems out there for these women. And even if it's just talking to other moms, if it's something that happened in the past, making that connection, reaching out to other people, it's reassuring at the least.
I was supposed to help you then you helped me. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So yes, your friend, anyone else, just be there for them. And don't go, you'll have more children. You're young, you'll have more. Or as one doctor told me, it's a tax write-off. So just be patient and supportive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tiffany. Tiffany is a friend of mine. I knew she had a powerful story. I didn't realize how powerful when we got a chance to talk. Michaeline, observations?
Yeah, that was actually hard. It was actually hard to watch. I'm tearing up right now again, just thinking about that and watching her emotion, and you get to see all of that rising up, and yet that is so natural and it's so normal. But I think we need to be prepared for that, because so many people around us have been impacted, and that loss may have been years or decades ago.
She has 5 children. Wouldn't it be common for someone to say, well, you've got 5 children now. That was a long time ago. That was your first child.
Unfortunately, yes. And I think we do that because we're trying to be well-meaning. We think that that's bringing comfort or helping to redirect them. But what are we doing? We're minimizing that child, that one child that no other child can replace for them, rather than telling them that we're sorry and that we're remembering that child with them.
If you don't know what to say, I'm so sorry. That's pretty simple.